track is clear for Forerunner 1.
So, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 8th EBERSPÄCHER FIL Luge World Cup. We're just going through the top three. I'm back here with Reed Watts. My name is Mark Hatton, and Bots Plume here, currently in third place, really threading the needle there, Reed.
Exactly. As you said earlier, they've been super solid this season, and really good to see them step into form.
And then Wendell, obviously no surprises there with these two. I mean, so much form on this track, and look at that exit. Just beautiful.
That's how you do it. Come close to that slider's left wall and just thread it right to the right. Just tight, keep that chicane real close on both ends. Set you up perfectly into corner 12.
So looking at the temperature's dropping here in PyeongChang. Ice down to minus 5.4, that's dropped a whole degree. So the track is getting just a wee bit faster, minute by minute, and should make that very technical curve 9 exit even more technical.
Yeah, exactly. The colder those temperatures get, the less perches you have on that ice. Sometimes it's where you want to angle up and start committing more with playing a more safer setup for the long-term game. But again, still pretty warm, so it'll be interesting to see the setups they decide to choose for this. Whether they risk it or they go for stability. And
that's an interesting piece. I mean, as the coaches, that's a big decision for the coaches to make, isn't it? In terms of, do I set my athlete up for all-out speed, or do I set them up for a bit more grip and a bit more stability and consistency?
That's exactly it.
So 13 corners here. Obviously, the one we've been speaking about the most has been exit corner 9, although they're all technical in different ways. Reed, tell us a little bit about the track.
Yeah, that's right. So going through the top again, it's not just corner 9. There's also corner 6, corner 13, corner 15 that have been posing a lot of challenges today. So going through the top, your corner 4, the slingshot that gets you right into it. You have corner 5 right here where you really get your composure into corner 6. For the double sleds, they don't have the pressure and they have extra weight to get that height in corner 6, which is really tricky. Now it's all about composing yourself here in corner 8 to set you up exactly for the toughest part of the track, corner 9, right here. So you have a nice shot straight into that chicane right before it goes downhill into corner 12. Now to the exit here, corner 13, also been a struggle all day to see sleds coming out straight here. Corner 14, really important to cut that last pressure low so you get nice and late, good height into 15 for a nice early entrance into this big uphill section, corner 16. Run down there. It's all those smaller corners that really make up the track here, where the pressures don't always want to work with you, and you have to fight the sled to get the sled where you want it to go.
Yeah, I believe it. In terms of coaching on this track, you know, you step away from a lot of classical luge knowledge. It's some of these corners are a law unto themselves, aren't they? With single pressures here and very little pressure in other places as well.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. The little pressure is the tough part too.
We're lucky to have almost all the shades up tonight, which is such a joy in this track. It's such a beautiful track, and the lighting, absolutely broadcast quality lighting the whole way down the track. You know, no expense was spared when this track was built. As we see our start list for the next run with Gitlan Serban of Romania rolling off to get us going for run number 2 in this incredibly close race. And the surprise leaders, Egert Mueller, 46.238, almost a tenth ahead of Wendell Alt.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, right? It takes 2 here, but that's where that old experience really comes into play here on this track, especially with its technical challenges.
Good crowd here. They run a schools program here where they get local schools in to watch the sliding.
Inspire the next generation.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's what they've been doing a lot at this track.
Yeah, it's what it's really all about, getting the young people, and especially to build that new Korean team. They've been really working hard. Unfortunately, not seeing any showings in the doubles, but I believe we'll see some in the men's singles event later today.
So, Gitlan Serban of Romania starting us off now. Again, regulars on the tour. came out to Whistler for the World Championships last week. And they're also going to be in Beijing next week. As you know, ladies and gentlemen, we have 2 World Cups left in the season. It's incredibly tight at the top, but not everyone's going for first place. People are going for top 10s in the overall, top 5s. So these last 2 World Cups, absolutely incredibly important for all the teams. As Gitlan Serban drop into the track to get us going for our second run.
Yeah, I think on this run, they're just going to really be looking to put down a nice, tidy one here to see what they could have done with that first run. A couple too many mistakes to keep them this far down the pack, but there's always 2 runs. Always good to have one for the confidence so you can leave on a high note.
Looking like they're losing a little bit of grip in the top there, didn't it?
Maybe the ice is getting a little harder, a little squirrely in this top section, but this is where you really need all the grip coming out of corner. Now, silly do. Oh! Just keeping it off. Again, one of those best case scenario things to kind of keep it off the walls the best you can, get the pontoons down for survival sliding. Just going to be looking to get across the finish line here.
Well, and that's the thing with doubles luge especially, is it's not always going to be a perfect line. It's your survival skills that will really make you a complete slider in this sport, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. I'll tell you what, doubles luge sure taught me how to crash.
So, into the lead go Gitlan Serban, opening up the account for the second run. It's looking quick out there. It looks like the track is significantly quicker than it was on run number 1.
Yeah, it could be. It'll see with those guys at the top, but there was quite a bit of that kind of ice flying, so who knows, these colder temperatures, this dry ice really might be onto something here.
Yeah, and just
right there,
managing to just fend away that that left wall, but then going over that big drop off into curve 11. That's a tough gig when you are sliding all over the place.
Super tough, and you can see in that slow-mo, really good shot of all the ice being cut, right? And that's sometimes a quick wall is not as costly as that ice that's being cut right there.
So here we go, Hoy Kachmar of Ukraine, our second sled, with a nice quarter of a second cushion over Gitlan Serban.
Yeah, again, these guys as well, just looking to put down a really good run here to leave on a high note. And again, the Ukrainian team's really been stepping up this season, so it'll be really interesting to see. Looking again on that entrance of corner 4, like maybe there's a lack of grip coming into this.
Yeah, absolutely. That's both sleds have really been struggling in the top there with not looking like they have a huge amount of traction. As
corner 6 especially.
Very, very close to the right wall out of 6 there as well, as we come out of curve 9 and just dropping the anchors and getting away with it, but not moving too much. Still in the green. We said if you're new to sliding sports, if you've just turned up here from somewhere else on YouTube, you'll see down in the bottom right-hand corner there's a clock. If it's green, that means the athletes are leading. If it's red, then sadly they've dropped behind. But Hoy Kachmar sliding into the by almost half a second over Gitlan Serban. A solid run there, considering the problems they had halfway up.
Yeah, that's true. Kept it just off the walls there as best they could out of corner 9. But in that top section right there, out of corner 6, you can see the back end drop, and then they're just going really squirrely into corner 7 there, which is just going to be more costly on the time. But again, maybe it's a grip issue going on right now.
And I think that brings us back as well to what you were saying, Reed, about the pressures in this track and the sudden lack of pressure in some of the exits of the curve. Pressure being what keeps the athlete on the curve. And you see, we've seen a few of the teams at this end of the draw maybe dropping out a little too soon out of some of these curves.
Yeah, exactly. And then you got the double sled extra weight, and these tracks are designed to go from the top, so they are coming in with a little less speed as well.
So back again with another Romanian. This is Tudor Hanzaric and Sebastian Motska, straight into the green with that good cushion they got from their good first run. And a much better top section there, just hanging up though.
Yeah, really late entrance into 7 and did not fix it on that second pressure, riding it high, but this is where it's really all made here, and they do it really well. A little late into corner 12, but that's as good as you can ask for on this track.
Absolutely, that was very, very solid sliding from Hanzaric Motska through 9. Tricky part of the track, now we go a little early to 15. This will send them towards the right wall, and it does, as they cross the finish line, still in the green by almost exactly exactly half a second over Kaczmar and Zdrek Motska of Romania are your new leaders.
Yeah, and it looked like they're on the edge of the corner 15 just before that uphill section. Almost looked like that back end started sliding a bit too there, keeping them a little late into corner 16. So, again, maybe a bit of a grip issue.
Yeah, I hope we get to see that loop in 6. That really caused them some problems higher up the track, but they, thankfully for them, they sorted it out by curve 9. And I think this track, I find a lot of athletes, they focus on that one curve, and the danger of doing that with any track is you forget the other curves.
There's 13 more. They're sliding 16 off the top, right?
So here we go with Edward Seviks Mikelsevic and Lukas Kras of Latvia. Just jumping ahead straight into the green again. It's quite a wide field in the back end of this race, and gets to be much tighter between the sleds as we move up towards the medal positions. Seviks, Mikelsevic and Kras looking very nice here, though. Just dropping the anchors there as they go into 11 with not a bad shot considering that exit from 9.
That's exactly it. Not
very late in the 14.
14. That drop away out of 13 looks like it caught them. See how they can handle the last tricky part. Again, looking like they lost a bit of pressure in the end of 15, causing them to go late into 16. Still a very big lead, but a lot of time in that run.
1.5 seconds to the good. Into the lead, the Latvian team of Seviks, Mikelsevic and Lukas Kras. I don't remember 15 throwing up this many problems 7 years ago.
I remember the pre-Olympic test event though. The one before that, that was a problem. We had a coach down there every single time, and that was just as big of a focus as corner 9 for us to really get that line there dialed in.
And I'm guessing that's a good point in the fact that this crop of athletes who haven't been here, they haven't had the luxury of a pre-Olympic test event.
They haven't had the training of the pre-Olympic event. They haven't had that run volume that we had to figure it out back in 2018. So this is fresh sliding for them.
Absolutely. I mean, when I was coaching Korea in 2018, I was camped down in 15 for many days in the cold. And it's quite the curve, and it's so critical with that huge uphill section. Just going towards the left wall on the start there, the Italian pair. Looking very nice at the top, Rita Keinswalder, straight into the green again.
Leave it to the Italians to show what good sliding looks like, putting on a clinic up top so far.
Yeah, that's a whole other conversation, isn't it? It's about the classical sliders left on the tour with the value good form, working in diagonals, all those good things, rather than a big start and just getting it down the hill. And I always find the Italians always produce these beautiful classical sliders that look so comfortable on the sled.
Yeah, exactly, and that's everything in the sport, being comfortable on the sled, and it's showing right here for this run. Second up already, great showing to secure no worse than 9th place for the Italians.
Yeah, absolutely, great run there from Rita Keinswalder. Really, really confident through 9, and really not much to say on that. It was a bit of a little ropey on the start, going towards the left wall, but 9 seemed to treat them okay. And the bottom section, really, really nice bottom section. Probably a little shot towards the right-hand wall out of 15, but nothing that really slowed
bad.
them down.
Really nice out of corner 9 there, which is so important. And now it's going to be seeing if they can climb the ladder any spots here.
So here we go with Zach D. Gregorio and Sean Hollander of the United States of America with a 0.2 of a second cushion. Again, American starts always are good because they have that beautiful facility in Placid, which went from being an excellent facility with 3 ramps to being an absolutely world-class facility after the US Luge Association put some money into that and really made a fantastic launch pad for their sliders to come out on tour with the fastest starts in the world.
Yeah, and they've also been sliding very well, this young team here. See how they can handle corner 9. That's a committed line. That is how you do it. Racing on the edge right there from the Americans with a quarter of a second lead right now. Let's see if they can keep it tight in the bottom section here.
14 looking nice. Touch early, but they dealt with it beautifully. And that's how you go into 15. Get that straight shot up the middle with a slight bit of crust to the left into 16 is the ideal line out of there, but it's Di Gregorio Hollander sliding beautifully into first place with a 1:33.325 combined time and a 0.3 of a second cushion. It's quite a broad field at this half of the pack, isn't it?
Yeah, and they have to be really impressed with that too. I believe I'm almost certain this is their first time here, and just looking at the lines, their position the whole way down, that corner 9, the way they committed to that right there, hugging that slider's left wall, and then bringing it nice and tight to sliders right into corner 12. That's how you get it done. Head back, confident position. It's like it's his home track or something.
And you can see there is literally no margin for error.
No margin for error, but that's how you get it done. The high risk, high reward line, corner 9.
100%. As we come to Müller-Frauscher of Austria, our first Austrians of this second run.
Yeah, again, these guys have put some really good results, and I'm sure they as well are going to want to climb the ladder in the second run here.
And keeping that quarter of a second cushion ahead of Di Gregorio and Hollander. Müller-Frauscher looking smooth through the top. It seems like that initial, possibly greasiness of the ice on the initial spritz has worn off. Seems that these sleds are now getting a lot more stability in those top curves.
Yep, looking good there, but risking it big. That early exit out of corner 9, just missing the wall. They're holding on to it.
A little late into 14.
A little late into 14. Let's see what this lead comes into the uphill section. And it's growing, but here a little squirrely out of 15. I think they have enough to hold on to the lead. Should be no problem for them, but lose a little bit of time in that last split in that uphill section.
So almost 3/10 into the lead there. Müller-Frauscher ahead of Di Gregorio and Hollander of the USA currently in second. Solid run from the Austrians there, and that really committed line out of 9.
Yeah, committed in the opposite direction, though. Or they committed to that right wall, and they just started cutting to dive away from corner 10, and they just did. So props to them. And that's the interesting thing with corner 9. There's a bunch of different lines. I remember at the Olympics, too. There were 2 different lines you could take in the entrance, right? You could do that early, or you could opt for that late. So that's what's interesting about this track, too, is there's lots of room for line interpretation, which is really interesting, and you don't see that on any of the European tracks, really.
No, this is true. And I can tell you one other thing. We haven't mentioned the Dragon's Tail yet once.
That's right.
This commentary. Those of you that watched the Olympics back in 2018 will remember that that section between 9 and 11 was christened by commentators all over the world as the Dragon's Tail. And yeah, we've been very restrained not using it. We will on this run. Nagler-Mallier straight into the green by almost 0.03 of a second, and just dropping back into the red from Müller-Frauscher.
Yeah, interesting that a really big start there, but already losing at the top, only down to 400s here. There's still lots of track to gain time with a really clean line. And this is where it all comes down to corner 9. A little early out, that's going to be tight, and making the best of it, but that is not going to help their case whatsoever.
And so they're just hanging on the end of that curve there a little bit. They're going to have to try and regain their composure in this long right hand of 14 and try and get that middle entrance to 15.
On the late side, but okay.
Having to push it across to 16 there a little bit, and you're driving uphill the whole time there, so the ideal line is that straight shot with a little bit of cross to the left-hand side. But easier said than done. Really.
That's right, you're giving all your corner 15 secrets away.
And the Dragon's Tail there looking a little bit more challenging.
Yep, there we go. Just came out early, and there's only that corner 10 nub to meet you there, to bump you right there. Again, we've seen in the first run that can bite you a lot harder. So again, making the best out of a nasty situation, but held their composure as best they could.
Yeah, and I guess that first pressure in 11 is just so welcome when you're going in sideways like that.
Oh boy. Is it ever?
So back up to the top with Stoy Kindle. Wolfie Kindle incredibly accomplished single slider in his own right, doing double duty, which is tough. Tough to be going to and from the track and having to train singles and doubles, both at the top end of the sport as well.
Exactly, and in about an hour's time, he's got to get his singles mind on, and hardest worker on tour right now.
Yeah, tough day at the office, but almost a tenth to the good ahead of their countryman Müller Frauscher. Stoy Kindle looking very solid through here.
Really nice exit out of corner 9 there. He was working the sled to get that line, but he nailed it there. Now he's just got to keep it tidy out of corner 13 here.
A little bit of a rooster tail of ice coming out of 13 there, but managed to correct the line very early to 15.
That's going to hurt, but that was a great correction there. And a big lead, 3/10 up.
Great sliding from Stoy Kindle to move into the lead ahead of Müller Frauscher. So Austria 1-2 at the moment, and that early entrance to 15 not looking like it costs them too much.
Yeah, that was a great recovery from that, because that early entrance into 15 there is so hard to get that height, but he made the best of that situation for sure.
Well, it's such a short curve, isn't it? There's not, you make the mistake, there's not much time to fix anything. Really.
There's not much curve, there's not much pressure to work with unless you can build it yourself, and that's going to be really hard to do with that early entrance.
There we go. Such a great member of the tour. Well, both of these guys, Stoy and Kindle, but Kindle been around since 06 Olympics and just absolute stalwart of the sport. As we come to the current world champions, Orlemund and Gubitz.
Now the new world champions here, just outside of the podium, looking to climb a spot or few.
Yeah, I mean, that must feel so good when you've got Wendell Alt in your team and Tony Eggert as your in-team competition, to be the one walking around the hotel with the World Championships gold medal.
No kidding.
Straight into the lead go Orlemund and Gubitz. Let's see how they go up to this 102 split just coming up. And that lead has dropped significantly. They're back by 0.04 of a second.
We have a race here.
So they're going to have to put on the afterburners in the bottom, keeping their cool. Best of a bad deal.
Just about, but that's going to be really harsh on their time here. That's going to be way too much to claw back, especially coming into this uphill section here.
Orlemund and Gubitz, so showing experience beyond their years here. As they come a little middle to 16, but no big deal at the top, but dropping back into second, leaving Stoy and Kindle of Austria still in first place. And Orlemund and Gubitz almost 0.4 back from Stoy Kindle.
Yeah, that's a tough one there. You have to be really dialed in on this track, but this is their first time here, I'm sure, with very limited runs. So again, chalk this up to a learning experience, and it's not learning an easy track by any means. It's, dare I say, one of the more technical ones, especially.
Yeah, they're having to riff a little bit all the way down, aren't they? Kind of make it up as you go along in some places,
yeah,
because you don't have that run volume where you can have that perfect plan A. There's plan A, plan B, and plan C being played out the whole way down the track.
Exactly.
But this is where those athletes, I think, athletes and teams that can adapt to situations, that's where they rise to the top on these unfamiliar tracks. The ability to make the best out of a bad deal or a bad exit, bad entrance, and fix their mistakes. I mean, all these guys are the best in the world, so they can all fix mistakes, but some fix better than others. As we see Bots Plume, form team of the moment in the track. Bots and Plume just having an absolute stellar season for Latvia, as expected, and ahead of Stoy Kindle, coming up to the 102 split, but only by 11 thousandths of a second.
It's really tight. There's nothing in this. They're going to have to put down a real good run here, and this is where it all comes down to. Corner 9, that's very early out, and that is not, oh, and they're over.
Risking it all there, Bots and Plume. Keeping those legs inside the sled, managing to get it back onto the runners now. This is important for overall World Cup points. Now, this is going to have had a big effect, obviously, on their ambitions to be on the top spot. But if they can get up this very steep hill and cross the finish line, they will at least record a good number of World Cup points.
And they're just going to do it. Just there, but that's corner 9. So unforgiving there. You're just a little off to that slider's right side, and it can end that easily. Once you hit that wall into corner 10 there, you're just a passenger essentially, and unfortunately got the best of him.
Absolutely, and Stoy-Kindle here, just riding the elevator up. That's two teams they've overtaken.
And right there you can see just hugging that slider's right wall, not where you want to be, and you're met with that first chicane, and then right as they hit that second wall, that's where the track really drops away, and there's just nothing holding you on. Unfortunately, it was enough to roll them, and especially with these double sleds too, just nothing in it. But they got back on the sled. Again, they're okay. That's the most important thing.
Absolutely, and 2 sleds left to go in this second run, so it's incredibly tight now. And with that mistake from Bots and Plume, that has opened the door to Stoy-Kindle for a guaranteed podium. So, 2 gentlemen that need no introduction on this track, or indeed in the world of luge or doubles luge, the Tobys.
No kidding, walked away with 2 Olympic gold medals on this track from this exact start here. So again, they have to be coming in with some real good confidence, some real good memories. Must be really happy to be back, and definitely going to try to take down that top spot here.
I feel these Bavarians, I'm talking these guys, Felix Locke, the Bavarian contingent, kind of rolling back the years this season.
Yeah.
Must be something in the water there in Berchtesgaden, but I mean, I feel like these guys are in the best, they're in the form of their lives.
Exactly, and again, this is just a game of experience, and looking at that already, first place start time, they've been able to do that for so many years, which is super impressive, and now it's just about getting it down the hill. They know how to do well.
Yeah, and I mean, you see that, I mean, you saw it with, say, George Hackle. The start dropped off in the later years, but the sliding kept improving. And I feel with Wendell Art, the physicality, it hasn't left them.
Right there too, sliding like the pros they are, right? No problems out of corner 9 here, just got to keep it tidy. A little feet down going into corner 13 there, a little offline.
That last split, they only had 0.04 of a second to play with, so they're going to go back into the red. This is going to be tight with 0.3 back in the red.
It's all up here, a 10th back. Stoy-Kindle moving up another spot.
So Stoy-Kindle guaranteed a silver medal in this race, with Wendell Art in bronze medal position.
And that's the thing too, is we talked about corner 9 all these times, but again, corner 12, corner 13, and then just that bottom section too is very challenging in its own. It's really tough top to bottom on this one.
So here we are, our final slider. Egert Mueller, final sled of this doubles competition. And Egert Mueller kind of lost that winning feeling since their incredible start in Lillehammer at the beginning of the season, where they got their only gold medal of the year. But Egert Mueller just looking wonderful right now.
Yeah, that's right. And a win would be really, really big for them to get them on the form they had in the early season here. Looking good with a big lead already at the top, but losing it.
Yeah, they're looking a little ragged through the top here, Egert Mueller. Stoy-Kindle could be on for a surprise here, but let's see how we're doing at this split. But with that curve 9, they're still very much in the conversation, but only by 0.04 of a second. They're going to have to be
perfect.
Absolutely faultless through the bottom. Bumping on early onto 14, going to help their cause. But a nice entrance to 15. Still
pushing it back, he's going for it.
And crossing the finish line. Second place, 0.02 of a second. That is Stoy-Kindle, your winners. Egert Mueller in second. And Wendell Art in third.
What a race. I think that was the first sled that built any time that they lost in that bottom section where it goes uphill. That really was a beautiful 15 and just plastered it back, but just unfortunately not enough track for them.
That was incredible. That 15 to 16 section, how Wendell Art found that much time and almost got it. 0.02 of a second. Solid exit from 9. But I think that bump onto 14 costs them with that loopy line as well.
2000s, that could be anything too, right? You could chalk that up there.
That's a toe point.
That's a toe point. Maybe you breathed the wrong way down the track, right? Nothing in it. What a race.
And Peter Penn's looking over the moon there, very happy man, very happy coach. As we see our winner's circle here, and some very, very satisfied racers in this men's doubles. And here are your final results, with Wendell out in bronze medal position, Egert Mueller, your silver medalist, and Stoy Kindle, your gold medalists in this men's doubles, being followed up by Orlando Gubitz, who had not a good second run. That could have been quite different for them. And bringing up the back of the pack is Seviks Mikhelsevic in Krasts, Hendrik Motska, Hoy Kaczmar in 11th, Gitland Serban in 12th, and Bots Plume in an uncharacteristic 13th.
Yeah, that could have been a big one for them, but just unfortunately losing it there out of corner 9.
So some incredible outfits here from the Austrians. I will find out what the relevance of those are. I'm assuming that they're gifted to them by the organising committee. There is Ines Fagelis, president of the International Luge Federation, congratulating the athletes, handing out the goodies, the spoils of victory.
That's right.
And I'm so looking forward to the men's doubles race in Milan Cortina now. I feel this performance by Egert Mueller's blown it right open.
That's right, and they came back into form. I don't think they were really happy with their World Championship performance, but here again, right up for the fight, only 2,000s in it. They're here to play.
And Stoy Kindle, recognizing their hard work today and this season. Stoy Kindle, first time they've been on the top step of the podium this year in World Cup, and very, very deserved. Hardest worker in the game. And, Stoy, again, pre-Kindle, still a force to be reckoned with, and just continuing it with Kindle back at the sled.
No kidding, and that's the thing, too. So you look at this podium, that's a lot of experience, a lot of age in the sport, too, right? This is a game of experience.
Absolutely, especially on the top of the sled.
No kidding.
And the Dragon's Tail in corner 9 giving us incredible drama.
Yeah, it's really exciting. It's super tough, but it's not just corner 9 too. You got to be dialed in. Corner 6 has been problematic. Corner 13 has been problematic, and especially corner 15 as well. Just when you think you're through it, at the very last part there, that's where it can really bite you, and then right into that uphill section. So you got to be dialed in top to bottom here.
Absolutely. And we're going to be coming straight into the women's doubles second run. Not a big turnaround. There's no real track preparation to speak of in between these two disciplines. So the women will be coming up in just a few short minutes.
And now we have 2 minutes to start for the women's double second one.
So, welcome back to the women's doubles second run on this 8th EBERSPÄCHER Luge World Cup. My name's Mark Hatton. I'm here with Reed Watts, who raced here in the PyeongChang Olympics for Team Canada. Welcome back, Reed.
Thanks, Mark. It's great to be back. Great to see we're back here sliding again. One of the most exciting tracks in the world.
7 years, eh? That's a long time in between races.
A long time. It's looking for some good action as well.
So, 9 teams in this women's doubles. Stetskiv Mok of Ukraine starting us off, and Egla Kip of Austria are current leaders. If that men's doubles race we've just seen is anything to go by, we're in for an absolute classic, because 0.02 of a second between gold and silver. I mean, just wonderful racing.
Yeah, we're in for it.
So Eidberger Matschino, as we know, Eidberger, silver medalist here in the PyeongChang Olympics. She knows what it takes to do incredibly well on this track, which must give us so much confidence coming into this on a double sled. Degenhardt Rosenthal, been in this sport since the inception of this sport, and Egla Kip, who have just been fantastic all season. The reigning world champions. They won the world championships last week in Whistler. Degenhardt Rosenthal got second, and Eitberg and Max Sheena got bronze last week. So, I mean, it's all going to script really right now.
That's right, but again, as we've seen in that second men's doubles run, there's a lot that can go on here, a lot of spots to climb.
So, Elena Stetskev and Alexandra Mok of Ukraine are our first team to get us going for this second run in this women's doubles. World Cup number 8, 200 World Cup points left to fight for, with 100 being awarded this week, and next week in Beijing. In the World Cup finals, another 100, and it's very tight at the top in all the disciplines. So just a little pause on the start as Elena Stetskev pulls up her visor. Never want to pull your visor down too soon, do
Yeah, that's right, and sometimes being the first one off, you don't quite have that time to script it from the other sleds going down, and you're kind of starting it on your own, but it looks like we got a clear track right about now. Getting the confirmation should be a great... Oh, not yet. Interesting.
And the track, I mean, just from this shot, looks like it's holding up pretty well. It's nice and shiny. I mean, I find luge tracks always look good at night.
Exactly.
Looking at the ice temperatures, and I'm going to assume that the ice temperatures dropped another degree or so since we last got an update. I'm hopeful that this track has held up incredibly well.
I think it's holding up pretty well, but I think the biggest thing here for all these athletes is just having some good, clean runs. That'll get you more today.
Absolutely, consistency is key on this track, as we've been learning over the last 2 runs in doubles, with athletes and commentators fixating on curve 9. But as we know, there are other curves on this track, and the whole thing is rewards consistency, doesn't it?
That's right, top to bottom, you got to be perfect. But right here, definitely coming into the crux of this track. Beautiful exit out of corner 9. That's how you get it done.
There we go. That's going to build their confidence going into the bottom section of the track. Just dropping the feet into 13. That's not going to help as they bump onto 14. Having done the hard work out of 9, that's going to have cost them a little early to 15 as well. That's going to give them some right direction. They're going to be driving the whole way up that straightaway, but still a solid second run for Stetskev, which they can rightly be pretty happy with, I think.
Exactly, and they're thrilled right now too. And I remember when I first came here, my first runs weren't great, but every time I could just laser out a beautiful corner 9, it's just, that in its own was such a reward, and they're thrilled with that too, building confidence for later on in the week.
And I think when there is those signature curves on the track, as you see that beautiful exit here, it can be that kind of pack up and go home mentality if you're not careful, where you absolutely get that signature curve right, 9 in this case, and then you think, okay, my work here is done, and then you make mistakes on the less technical lower curves.
That's right, exit 12, exit 13, exit 14, exit 15. They're all places you can't be getting complacent whatsoever. Lots of time to be found in those corners as well.
Absolutely, and talking about consistency, which comes with experience, here we go with Raluca Stramatraru and Mihaela Manolescu of Romania. Stramatraru with a beautiful 8th place finish, I think it was, in the PyeongChang Olympics, which came out of nowhere, but was richly deserved for this athlete on top of this double sled 7 years ago.
Really strong showing for her, and that was the awesome thing about this track, is it rewards good sliding and clean lines here like no other track in the world.
Absolutely, and I feel like, talking back 7 years, Raluca was on for a breakthrough, and she timed it perfectly. As we see another beautiful 9. A little late into 11, but nothing to write home about. As they stay on the green, but that curve 9, very nice little skid into 14. That's not going to help their cause. Got to stay out of that woods of 15, but doing a great job through the bottom section. Looks like we're going to have a new leader by quite a large amount of time, 1.1 seconds. Stramatraru Manolescu into the lead, ahead of Stetskev of Ukraine.
Yeah, exactly. A couple small things, but overall got to be happy with this run. 7 years, not visiting a track is a long time, and you know, there's track conditions is how you remembered it, right? And it's how it could be built now too, compared to how it was built 7 years ago at the Olympics. It could almost be a whole new thing.
as you just saw them skid there as well.
Yeah, that's right.
There's some small mistakes that will have eaten away at time, but yeah, as you say, you don't know how it's going to be built. And if we think back 7 years to the Olympics, we had a team of, I think, 6 international ice makers from around the world helping manicure this track to its absolute zenith. And we now look at probably 1 or 2 flown over for this, but probably not a team of 6. As we go back to the action with Werther and Oberhofer of Italy straight into the green with quite a nice little cushion. Let's see how they go at the 104 split.
Little early out of corner 6, Eric, and late into corner 7, but they handle it well. Small mistakes that do add up a little bit of time.
9.
Just getting close to that wall, but threading the needle there. This is racing.
And building speed the whole way down, as we see that graphic down in the bottom right. It's a fantastic graphic that's been provided. It's just seeing that advantage they had on the start, just multiplying, and it's now doubled to 0.7 of a second. We should be seeing a lead by over a second, and we do. 1 second ahead, Werther Oberhofer of Stramatoraro Manolescu, and that is really throwing down the marker.
That's a strong run. I think they could move a couple places on the ladder here with the run like that. Really well done, really slid well.
And I feel we're seeing a lot more consistency on this second run as well.
A lot more, right? And with how little training runs they had, you almost have to treat that first race run like a training run too. They're still learning coming into this race.
Little bit of a rooster tail there out of the back of the sled, but a very good run there from Werther Oberhofer. Italians, as always, great form on the sled, great position on the sled. As now we move to Lebechnik and Bogdanova of Latvia. Young team, relatively new to this sport. But again, they've just climbed up the rankings, these two.
Yeah, exactly. And so much potential to grow, especially leading into the Olympics for next season.
You know, they put, with a bit of consistency on that first run, they've really put themselves in a good position here.
That's right, and a half second up already. That's a really healthy cushion coming into the second run.
Yeah, it's dropping out a little early there out of 4, but nothing too catastrophic as we come to curve 8, and they're looking good here. Good position, just rousing up on curve 8. Big skid. Wow.
Over. That was the setup to really hard into that wall there. Just hoping they're okay.
And they're back on their steels. So, as we said, it's a small field, so being able to finish is going to give a large amount of World Cup points. All important. So now we just need to forget about the time and hope that this Latvian team can get across the finish line.
That's it.
With this very steep uphill section, no longer allowed to paddle across the line or walk with your sled, and then they just make it across the line by about 1.5 meters, but sticking to the objective there of leaving here with as many World Cup points as possible, based on it. And you saw that mistake coming out of 8. They just
so high. Just crank that wall early into corner 9, and then you're just a passenger really high on the exit there, and just having the pontoons down, hit that right wall corner 10, and then again, as we've seen so many times, stages rolling over right there.
Yeah, that's an awkward crash, that one as well. So good to see they're both okay. I'm looking at that that hit on the left wall, and that happens right before the track drops away. That's always
a big hit there on the exit at 12. Oh, hope they're okay. They got back on the sled.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, these doubles races are made of stern stuff, as all luge races are, but I think a doubles slider once told me that doubles races, they have that 1,000-yard stare. They've seen it all, you know, and you've got to be so tough in this sport.
Doubles is a school of hard knocks, and women's doubles being such a new event too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But good to see they're both up and okay, crossing the finish line.
So good to see them cross the finish line and being followed down the track by their teammates, Ander Upite and Zane Kaluma. Second Latvian team of this second run. 7th last weekend in the World Championships, so a team in good form.
Exactly, and 6/10 up already. Again, a healthy lead, but they really have to hold it together the whole way down.
And that's the kind of lead where you can really concentrate on consistency. Little skittish through the top curves there, though, just losing small amounts, small increments of time in the top curves, which cost so much as we get down to the steeper parts of the track. And 9 just managing to keep it under control.
Still a half-second up, so it's a lot, but that was a big mistake on the corner 9. It could have been a lot worse, but the feet were down, just a lack of commitment there, I think.
Nice line through 14, little parallel too much into 15. That's going to put them towards the right wall as they come around 16. Still with a decent lead, though. Almost just over 0.4 of a second ahead of Wouter Oberhofer. Your new leaders, ladies and gentlemen, Ander Upte and Jane Kaluma of Latvia.
Losing a couple tenths in that run from the lead they had in the first one there, just from those mistakes up in the top section. And then, of course, out of corner 9, they're just having the feet down, just kind of going survival mode there. Still enough from the first run to hold on to it, but might be tough to climb up the ladder with them.
Absolutely, as we see that fantastic survival skills out of 9 there. Wasn't a perfect exit, but absolutely doing everything they needed to get the best result from them.
That's right, to keep a shiny side down, as we like to say.
Absolutely. Okay, 4 more sleds to go as we now move to the United States of America with Siobhan Forgan and Sophia Kirkby.
Yeah, this team's really impressed me this season. Coming out strong, consistent. They're definitely going to be looking to climb that one more spot onto the podium here.
Expecting to see them go straight into the green, and they do by a 1/4 of a second and change. Now let's see how they go in these top curves, because we've seen a lot of the teams having a lot of trouble with the lack of pressure in these curves and just sliding around a bit in the top. They're building on that lead ever so slightly. The next split is going to be incredibly telling, the 1:15 split. But Forgan Kirkby out of 9.
Beautifully, a little skid on that section where it drops away, but that was a pretty well done exit. High on the exit of 12, early to 13. Managed it really well. I think they'll have enough to hold on to this.
Still having to correct a little bit going into 15. That's not going to help them, but they make a great exit of 15 without too much to do up the hill. And they're ahead by 0.4 of a second. Forgan Kirkby, our new leaders, going ahead of Upte Kaluma of Latvia. That is USA into the lead.
Yep, and right there, not the fastest time of the second heat so far, but that might just be those problems they had in the bottom section of the track there after corner 9.
Yeah, there were small mistakes, weren't there?
Yeah, high off
down
the
the bottom
12,
section of the
early
track.
13, but they managed it quite well.
Yeah, they really did, and you know, very rarely do you see the plan A that we talk about in a doubles run.
That's
Plan
right.
B is usually deployed on at least one curve, even at the very, very top level when you're dealing with the best in the world here. Okay, so our final 3 sliders. This is the winner's circle after the first run. In bronze medal position right now, Eichberger Matschina of Germany. Diana Eichberger, someone that knows this track well, has a silver medal back home. Well, she might have brought it with her, but she loves this track. Having spoken to her about this track, she had such a fun time. She was really enjoying her sliding in 2018, but not looking great through those top curves, Reed.
Not necessarily, and there was such a little lead, only 400s out of that first split, down to only 1800s. They're going to have to be really good down here, losing some time already.
Okay. I'm thinking this next split could be incredibly telling. It's going to be down even more, 600ths of a second to play with, 114 kilometers an hour.
On that exit at 12, looking very similar to the Americans here, so this is going to be a tight race.
Very early to 15, that bounced him out towards that right wall.
Found speed, some mistakes out of 15.
They've got to hang on, though. They've got to find something out of here.
Wow, they found a lot of time.
So Eichberg and Matschina guaranteed a bronze medal.
Just really on the edge in that bottom section there. Really putting it down, but it was just enough to get them at least a bronze medal here. Going to be really interesting to see the next 2.
Well, you know, that there's no marks for style. I think when you're going absolutely full send, it can sometimes look a little messy as the sleds speed up, can't it? I mean, that was around corner 12, that was a few little problems there that really made a difference, I think, and lost some time, but they just kept on pushing all the way to the finish.
That's right, and that's what you have to do on this track.
So 2 sleds to go, ladies and gentlemen. Degenhardt Rosenthal of Germany. Now here's a question, I don't have it written down. Did they win the Youth Olympics in 2020?
I'd have to go back to the archives for that one.
I think they did.
But they've won just about everything else too.
Answer in a postcard or ideally on in the YouTube chat, ladies and gentlemen. As Degenhardt Rosenthal get us going for our second to last sled and straight into the lead with a 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, that's a very strong lead here. If they can keep it nice and clean, should be able to hold on to it here. But again, we've seen this track provide a bunch of action all day.
And they've picked up another 10th, starting to build speed now. The important thing is to carry it out of 9. Little sideways pressure, somehow edge. Somehow keep the sled going in the right direction. Big rooster tail of ice out of 13 though.
They're going for it.
Charging into 15, that's not a bad entrance, so they're going to have to keep it away from that right wall. I think we're going to be seeing a new leader here by quite a way, and we do. Almost 0.4 of a second. Degenhardt Rosenthal into second place with a track record.
Yeah, they're really putting the pressure on the Austrians at the top now. Really going for it here. This is a very eventful race.
Yeah, that's throwing down a marker to the Austrians. That's come and get me.
That's right.
Looking good up the top of the track, and curve 9 with that sideways pressure.
Just managing it so well with that committed position, shoulders back, feet up. It was a little squirrely, but just trusted the sled.
Absolutely. I mean, and you know, you tell it to all athletes, you hear it from all athletes, position gets you out of so many scrapes on a track, doesn't it?
It works. It's really counterintuitive. When the going gets rough, just commit.
Lie back.
Yeah.
So here we go, our final sled. Selina Egler, Lara Kipp of Austria. And back by 0.08 of a second on the start. That shouldn't phase them at this point as they slide straight into the green. You know, such great aerodynamics from this Austrian team, I see.
Oh, back and forth. We have a real race going on here.
Okay, so we've dropped to 0.17 of a second difference between Degenhardt Rosenthal.
Beautiful exit out of corner 9. I think 0.02 of a second. Now they got to be real tight out of 12. High again, early to 13, but managing it well.
14. And skidding into 15.
Fritz, this is going to be so tight. Those mistakes might not be enough with this uphill section here. Wow.
Second place, Degenhardt Rosenthal of Germany claim the win.
What a race.
Incredibly close racing.
Wow.
Men's doubles, women's doubles. What a way to open this PyeongChang World Cup.
And that was such an impressive sliding too with the limited amount of runs they've all had here. Just really throwing down, really going for it, real committed racing. That was a treat.
Reed, I think that's the word, commitment. A full commitment. You wouldn't expect anything less from World Cup sliders, but it's been so on show today in these 2 doubles races.
Exactly, and look at that line and position in corner 9 there. A corner that makes a lot of people apprehensive, just had the confidence in her line to get it right there, but just taking it right down 0.02 of a second.
German coaches, quite rightly, incredibly happy with their athletes' performance. Well, I think we've figured out that this is a gift from the race organizers to the winners. These beautiful robes.
Yeah,
given to wear.
Yeah, that's quite nice. I like that. That's a really nice touch.
It really is. And so, our leaders, our winners, your bronze medalists, Eidberger, Matschina, silver medals to Egler and Kipp, and, well, Degenhardt Rosenthal with a dominant performance on this incredibly tricky track that they had never been to before. Forgan and Kirkby just in 4th place, Upete Kaluma in 5th, and Werter Oberhofer in 6th. So, I mean, looking at that, I think the world of women's doubles is in incredibly good health, Reed.
I think so too. That was phenomenal sliding from all the athletes there. Really looking good on the sled, sliding really well, and just such tight racing. That was unreal.
Absolutely. I'm just looking so forward for it to be showcased in Milan Cortina, because I think this is going to really open people's eyes to the skill levels that we see in these doubles disciplines.
Yeah, 100%. And that's going to be a great race too. Brand new track again, but we've seen some great sliding here with a brand new track for a lot of these athletes too. So it'll be really, really exciting to watch.
One more time, please give a big round of applause.
Absolutely deserved from the World Championship silver medalist Jessica Degenhardt and Cheyenne Rosenthal.
Smile.
Here we see the leaderboard again: Degenhardt, Rosenthal, Egel Kipp, and Eitberger, Matt Sheena in bronze medal position. It's all to play for going into next week in Beijing.
That's right. World Cup overalls are on the line here.
For all the marbles.
That's right.
So the flower ceremony gets underway. We're going to be back very shortly with the men's singles in approximately 45 minutes. Well, this is the points on the board. 735 points versus 660. So mathematically, it is possible for Degenhardt, Rosendahl, or Egel Kipp to take the title.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of them too, Beijing will be a new track, new experience, and a real challenge for them as well, which will be really exciting to watch next week.
Absolutely. Beijing, again, going to be a new track for a lot of these teams. So as we see the top three moments from this World Cup, here's Diana Eitberger. Just a technician, really, isn't she?
That's right. That slow-mo shot out of corner 9 into that really tricky chicane is always such a good shot.
And our winner, and our silver medalist Egel Kipp again, and here we see Degenhardt, Rosenthal. You know, just wonderful sliding from all three teams on the podium, and actually across the board.
Yeah, exactly. With the limited runs again, I keep repeating myself.
It's quite a challenging track. You've been here before. How did you prepare for this run?
Yeah, I think there was a good moment 7 years ago, and I keep all my emotions with it, and yeah, try to do my best in the new position with the women's doubles.
We saw a lot of problems on the track already in the runs before. How was it for you?
Yeah, I didn't think about it, and in the beginning of the week we had also a crash from the junior start, but from the normal start position everything went fine, and so we are lucky to stand on the podium.
And I guess Diana helped you a bit in preparing for this run, right? Because she's been here before.
What?
Weil ich schon vorher da war.
Ach so, yeah, she helps me a lot to on this track, but yeah, it was the first time I was sliding here, and at the first time I was not so amused, but yeah, it's okay.
Thank you guys, congratulations.
Thank you.
Guys, congratulations on the podium here. You've won a lot of races this season. Only silver for you here. Are you happy with it?
Yes, I think it's not just only after a really rough training week. We are so happy that we got done 2 solid runs. The first run was really, really good. We had some mistakes in the second run, out of 14 into 15, but all in all, we are so happy.
We already saw a lot of challenging runs here today. How did you prepare for this track? It's your first time here.
Yeah, we went to a lot of track walks. We looked at a lot of videos. We talked to our coaches a lot. And luckily we could have figured it out almost to the race. Yeah. Thank you.
So words from Selena Egel, Lara Kipp there, and as they say, lots of track walks, lots of research. I mean, you just have to do that, don't you, on a new track?
Yeah, 100%. It becomes a obsession essentially, right? With such limited runs down the track,
Guys,
you gotta really figure it out.
on the top spot of the podium. You had a lot of second places. Everything worked for you, right?
Yeah, it was tough here. It was a new track for nearly everyone. So yeah, we tried to learn the track as fast as possible. Had some good runs, some less good runs, but I think for the race today, those were our best 2 runs of the week. So we can be so happy about it.
So, mach gleich mit Ihnen.
And so there we have it. Our winners, our flower ceremony, and an incredible advertisement for the sport of women's doubles.
Yeah, that was a real good race to watch. Real awesome.
And if it's your first time watching luge, well, it's actually always like this, and that's why it's incredibly important for you to come back for the races we've got coming up, which is the men's singles.
Congratulations to a podium here. The last time you were here, you won. Was the track different for you this time?
Yeah, of course, it was a little bit different. We're getting older, but it was nice to be back on the Olympic track that we won. Yeah, we had a tough training to find the right setup. Today the 2 runs wasn't that good. That's why we're happy about the 3rd place. And yeah, hopefully we come more often to this track and can improve our skills.
Thank you. Guys, congratulations. Tony, you've been here on this track before. How was it different for you today?
Today, I think we started with a pretty good run. Was nice first run. I saw a lot of other teams made mistakes, and I knew it. We have to fight a lot, and we took the full risk. And yeah, we had too many skids in the second run, so this 2000s was possible. And this is sure we can be happy to be second and on a podium back, but shit, I'm a little bit angry on myself.
Guys, congratulations on winning here. It was a very challenging track. We saw some skids on turn 9. How was it for you?
Yeah, especially in first run, it was really hard. My shoe spicked off on the start. Then I wasn't there for 100%, but the second run was almost perfect. And the win with 2,000 of a second ahead of Tony, just amazing.
Was it unexpected for you to win here?
Yeah, it was unexpected. We knew that we were really good in training, but we had some problems also. But I think we took everything together today, especially in the second run. It was really a great run, and yeah, it was close racing, but it's fun. Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Well, there we have our interviews from our doubles medalists, and the one that stood out for me there, Reed, was Tony Eggert saying we took the full risk, and I think he probably spoke for almost everyone in that men's doubles field and women's doubles field, to be fair. Just incredible levels of commitment we've seen today.
Yeah, exactly, but it's bittersweet, right? Great to be on the podium, but just losing out by 0.002 of a second, that's nothing in it. So, but again, when you're taking the risk, that's what comes with it sometimes. A few skids, a bit of uncertainties, but they got to be really happy with being back on the podium.
Absolutely, and just looking at the another highlight for me today was seeing Stoy Kindle move up onto the top step of the podium. I think it's been a long time coming for them this season, and they're such an exciting team to watch. I mean, it's such a great pairing.
Yeah, exactly right. Really climbing the ladder on that second run to take it out into first place. Really going for it. Really good sliding. Again, super committed, which was super, super awesome to see.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you were going to design a doubles backman, you would probably draw a picture of Wolfgang Kindl. Powerful, slightly shorter, incredible slider in his own right. You know, incredibly powerful, carrying out a lot of injuries, to be fair. Pretty much held together by duct tape this season. But, you know, like we said, these guys are the toughest of the tough, these doubles racers. And a few injuries don't really faze them, it seems.
Isn't that right?
So coming up very shortly, well, in about 35 minutes, we're going to have men's singles, and this is shaping up to be a classic. Max Langenhan could win everything today. Mathematically, he could leave today as the World Cup champion, making Beijing next weekend a victory procession. But there's going to be some people who have something to say about that. Nico Gleischer being one of them, who, if he wins today, can really, really put the pressure on Max.